Yes, few questions. Huh? Huh?
Please give one words of encouragement and advice for the growth of Singaporean Buddhist community.
Correct. Singapore community.
Buddhist community. Yeah, Southwood. Again,
I don't know. I think you know better. You should know better. Of course, that almost like, I think, city-state, small one, but very efficient. And I think because of the education. So that much I know. Then how to further develop, that you know better. I don't know.
As a lay practitioner, what is the best practice or homework we should do at home on a daily basis?
As I mentioned last few days, study is the key factor. My own case, now over 75 years, but still, whenever I have time, now for example, at my breakfast, the mouth busy, but I look books, reading. Of course, if meal very tasteful, then my mind goes, I think, on the taste. But otherwise, you see, divided, like that. So whenever I have some time, I always read and think. So these books are not like history book. History book, read once, then finish. But these are philosophical books. You have to read from time to time, then think, because contemplation is a way. Contemplation. So, not easy. So, same book, after some time, after 1 year or few years, read again, you may get deeper understanding. So, you must read from time to time these important textbooks. And also, very important to read different books of different philosophical view. That also immense benefit. Like Nagarjuna's one book, I can't remember the name. Then also the Aryadeva's 400 verses. And then Viveka's book. So all ancient Indian school of thought is mentioned. Then a lot of debate. These are extremely useful. So, firstly, read as much as possible. Of course, those working days, of course, you have to carry work. And also when you return, maybe you feel tired. But then, the weekend, so instead of going some picnics, or especially like, nightclub. No. Occasionally maybe, but don't go. Waste of time, waste of energy. Instead of going these things in this area, and sit on your own home, spend more time with your children, and read, study, and then, if possible, as far as meditation is concerned, if possible, get up a bit earlier My own case, every day, 3:30 local time, 3:30, always is get up. Then 4 or 5 hours, some meditation and some chanting like that. So get a little bit earlier. I think best period to meditate or to think. Meditation, there are two types: single-pointed meditation and analytical meditation. As far as my own sort of experience is concerned, analytical meditation is the most powerful. Then, as I mentioned earlier, we also need the single-pointed concentration also is necessary, like that. So then, you see, early morning, as soon as get up, you see, think about like altruism and also the emptiness. Think, and then try to remain. So traces of that sort of little experience in morning, rest of the day must keep. Kasota must remember.
Keep it. Must keep something. Must retain.
Oh. So, for example, when we at the previous night, some bad news or something very tragedy sort of feeling, then next morning, in I think subconscious or deeper level, some impact the last night sort of the shocking news.
Yes.
So similarly, morning, some meditation, some analytical meditation about altruism, about the emptiness, these things, or impermanence, and try to reduce attachment or reduce anger. Then that meditation, some traces of that sort of impact of that meditation may remain whole day. So that's the way. Actually, meditation session is something like battery recharge. Then rest of the day, use that battery, like that. So if we makes, that's called also no connection, the meditation, and then daily life, separate, then no use. Meditation, the very purpose of meditation is daily life be more meaningful, like that. Okay, next question.
Although I was born in Malaysia, as a Chinese, we would like to confess and say sorry to His Holiness what mainland Chinese have done to your homeland and your people. I feel sad thinking about Tibet's plight. I sincerely hope your Holiness can return to homeland soon. What can we do to assist you in this cause?
We never feel bad feeling towards Han people, never. Of course, some individual Hanrin individual, quite strange Hanrin also there. That's understandable. Among Tibetan also, some special Tibetan also there. So similarly, among the Chinese also is some a little bit, you see, the abnormal Chinese also there. Right?
Nice.
So sometimes I express him. You see, some of the hardliners, the communists, the part of their brain, or part of human brain, which the basis of development of common sense. Some of these hardliners' brain, that part missing. So that's why, you see, one way, of course, these people, you see, really want nice picture of China. But their very activities creates bad face of China. Right. So there's a clear sign, a lack of common sense. Just power. But you don't feel some kind of because of this event, we have some kind of negative attitude towards Han people. Never. Well, I appreciate, you express your sort of sorrow, right?
Concern.
No,
sorry. Sorry.
Thank you. I very much appreciate it. Now, I think about 2 weeks ago, I met one Chinese from mainland China who also visited very recently Tibet. He told me in mainland China, according the official sort of the version, the Tibetan community outside very poor, very difficult. When he reached here, he spent a few days here in Meghalganj, and he found people here, their livelihood quite okay, and then quite nice, quite peaceful. He found contrast. Contrasted differences. No. And then also, you see, another person, one occasion you see it mentioned to me, even graduate student, university in China, you see, many of them have the view, past Tibet, see, Lamas and monks, also they suppress Tibetan people. Tibetan people hold people as a slave and very cruel. So that kind of society, the Liberation Army liberated. Even the graduate university student, many of them have that kind of impression. Then that person, notice, the past Tibet, of course, not like heaven. There are many backwards, drawbacks, naturally there. But overall, I think Tibetan community, quite compassionate society. That's true. The system, yes, feudal system, some exploitation there, but comparatively more compassionate. So there's a lot of distorted information. Many young Chinese, very sincere mind, but because of wrong information, sometimes now, for example, my own experience, before Tiananmen event happened, when we try to reach out, Chinese brothers, sisters in different universities, and also Chinese professors or Chinese or businessmen, before Tiananmen, from their side, response, very reluctant. They always remain. One story, one my officer in London, in my the representative, one day, one lady, the lady, went to Swiss embassy, Sweden embassy to get visa. In the meantime, one Chinese lady is also there, who also, trying to get visa to Sweden. So since that Chinese lady not speak English well, so my representative, who speak English very well, so she helped her. And then a short while, they become very sort of close,
close relation, connection.
Then, lastly, that Chinese lady asked her who are you? And she mentioned, I'm Tibetan. Then immediately the Chinese burst. And Tibet is part of China, Tibet is part of China, repeating that. I usually describe, that is the Chinese mantra, Tibet is part of China, Tibet is part of China. My mantra, my mantra is, we are not seeking independence, we are not seeking independence. That's my mantra. But unfortunately, both mantra not much effective. So therefore, you see, whenever you have opportunity, tell him truth, and including your experience. You say, come here, what I'm talking, what I'm saying, and what you saw is a Tibetan here, Tibetan community. So, and Tibetan culture, Tibetan Buddhism. So that's why I always trying to explain the basic Tibetan Buddhist structure. So therefore, you see, share your fuller knowledge to more people. That's very important. And especially when you, Chinese brothers, sisters, when you have opportunity, visit mainland China, then, of course, without much risk, and tell about your experience, and tell truth. I never ask any friend, you should be pro-Tibetan. I never ask. Please be pro-truth. All those Tibetan supporters in America, in Europe, or Latin America, like including BBC, I always say, I do not consider you are pro-Tibetan, but you are pro-justice. So you should be pro-justice. So as long as our struggle, reasonable, non-violence, reasonable, and something mutual benefit, support us. If we go extreme, then you must against us. Thank you.
You emphasized
I cannot see your face. I think. Oh, there. So good. 그럼 그늘에서 지금 이번에 누구 가? 가.
Ecuador.
고소 가서. Our first meeting, the former president of Ecuador. Ecuador. So like that. So he is not Buddhist, but genuine good Christian. So I'm trying to conversion. So like that. Now, next question.
You emphasize the importance of harmony and respect between different religions. What is your view on aggressive conversion methods by certain religions to convert believers of other faiths to their own faith?
As far as conversion is concerned, not good. Religion supposed to bring freedom, individual. So they sort of start religion must freely, voluntarily. Otherwise, if religion impose some other sort of mind, then it won't success, not good. So just a few days ago, I met one on Christian monk, one college in Bangalore. And also, I think that college, that Christian college, you see, helping about 100 Tibetan students. So I express my deep appreciation. I really admire, as I mentioned the other day, the Christian sort of, community, or Christian sort of,
Practitioners,
followers.
followers.
I mean, people who follow Christianity, I think that people, I think, really made maximum contribution regarding education. There's no question. Whether in Asia, whether in Latin America, whether in Africa, everywhere. So really great service to humanity. And also in health field, as the other day I mentioned. And then particularly that college, you see, took a lot of Tibetan students, many years. So I deeply sort of expressed my appreciation. Then meantime, since you see his face looks very sincere, so I have the courage to mention, half teasing him. As far as Christian missionaries' conversion is concerned, I am not admiring. I mentioned to him. He fully agreed. Particularly like Mongolia, nowadays I heard, you see the conversion mainly, you see, what's that mean?
Christian missionaries.
Korean missionary. Perhaps Reverend Moon sort of people, maybe. One time I also met, one occasion my visit in Mongolia, some Christian missionary people also usually came to see me, because usually I have very good relation with them. So at that time I told them, this is a Buddhist country. So the conversion here is not good. My own sort of case, in the West, when I give some lecture on Buddhism, I always made clear, it is better to keep your own tradition. Otherwise, you may develop confusion. So therefore, it is much safer, keep your own tradition. I think the other day I mentioned briefly, so that's very important. You see, one's own century-old tradition is very much sort of fit. Your cultural heritage also very much mixed with the faith. So therefore, European culture very much sort of influenced by Christian faith. Therefore, it's much better than Tibetan and Mongolian and Himalayan region. Their whole culture very much influenced by Buddhism. So whole their way of life is, each country, the whole their way of life is very much mixed, very much sort of, because they're influenced by the religion, religious faith. Therefore, it is much better to keep one's own faith. So therefore, I told those Korean missionary people on their face, I told, I appreciate your work for health, for education, but the conversion is concerned, it's not fit. This is a Buddhist country. I told them. So that's my view. And also, you see, when we, at the time, we are really sincerely trying to promote religious harmony. Conversion, also, you see the negative impact, isn't it? Like that. So give information freely. That's okay. Then let people study and make a comparison. And someone, like a Tibetan community, I think last centuries, you see, we have some contact with Muslim brothers, sisters. Some Tibetan convert into Muslim freely. And I think at the beginning of 20th century, some missionary school start in some area, in Amdo area, I think, as well as Kham area. So some old Tibetan who become Christian, okay, like that. So voluntarily, okay. But in Mongolia case, once you formally ask conversion, then get $15. So some Mongolian, quite enough, each year conversion. So each year $15 get. So these are silly. That's my view. Yes. Then next.
I don't know how to chant or read scriptures, as well as have never chanted mantra. I know only one thing, that is to offer and help other people around me. So can I think that is practicing Dharma?
What is this?
Nga de khande de
Ah. Chanting.
Chanting the KMS.
Oh. Yes. Action is more important, as I mentioned earlier. So you see, helping other people, serving other people, particularly needy people. So where nothing expect from them. That's a real service. That's a real sort of helping, isn't it? So that's more important than chanting or some ritual. So,
How do we balance practicing bodhicitta with being successful in modern world without giving up the material world?
you see, material facility also necessary. I also use like this shoe. I think made in China or somewhere, I don't know. And these things, and also my watch. Like that. There's no problem. As far as survival, comfortably, our body, these modern facilities are very useful. So there's too much greed. You see, when you get, say, $1,000, then still you want 10,000, 100,000, a million, 100 million, 1,000 million, or billion, 10 billion. Greed, no limit. Sometimes I jokingly is telling some rich family, or public talk, I mentioned, no matter how you rich, and those richer family people, you see, usually fund, diamond ring like that, isn't it? Those rich people also only 10 finger. And size of stomach also same. So you see, poor people, size is same, 10 finger same. So those richer family, you see, even you can buy 1,000 ring. Where you put? Only 10 finger, isn't it? Each finger, I think 2-3 rings looks very bad. 1 or 2, okay. Too many, bad. So therefore, useless. Basic necessity for survival of this body, and lay people, maybe little ornaments are there.
Ornaments.
Little ornament, okay. And little what's it? Cosmetic or something. Little okay. But then is there some ladies really eye become green. That I think, as far as to me, is not beautiful. So there always there is a limitation. I usually telling people, as far as material value is concerned, anyway, there is a limitation. The mental development is concerned, no limitation. So the thing, whether we like it or not, there is limitation. Where limitation, better to content. Where the reality, no limitation, then we must make effort without contentment. But usually it's just opposite. Mental development is concerned, we contented. Or material value, where in any way there is limitation, we discontent. It's wrong. What do you think? Do you agree? Oh, okay. Like that. Next. Take. No need ceremonial way. No need. Next question.
So in Western education and Western companies, promotion of self-centeredness or ego is important. How do you relate these to our practice?
I think too much competition. Competition, there, I think two kinds. One competition, simply you do not want remain behind. You also want to be first or top. Okay. In a way, you see, our whole vision become Buddha. Also quite a big ambition, my way. Isn't it? No harm. Not in order to harm others, no. But in order to help others more effectively, you want to more development. It's good. And company, in order to serve the whole humanity or even the world economy, with that motivation, is work hard and become top. Good. But then other sense of competition, you see, in order to you get there, harming other, cheating or speculation, right? Create some rumors. These are negative competition. Even in school, just you want to be because of the top student, okay. But for that reason, it's stealing some because of the material from here and here, and cheating some student. That's wrong.
Coming from a part of the world experiencing constant turmoil, part of the world experiencing constant turmoil, world. Zambuli.
World.
How can individuals like me preach inner peace and love when so-called leaders openly speak of revenge and hatred?
Maybe blessed. Some water come. Blessing must bring some pleasant feeling. But just drop not pleasant feeling. Okay. Yes, that is true. In human mind, the effect from the environment quite serious. Unless your own training or through training develop certain principle, certain conviction, become sort of solid. Otherwise, you see the influence from others, quite serious. So, I always say, sharing with people, when we look back, 20th century, that century becomes century of bloodshed. And according to some historian, in that century, over 200 millions of people killed through violence, including civil war. So then, problem is still there. Therefore, like the Iraq crisis, these things happen. The immense bloodshed failed to solve problem, failed to bring real peaceful world. So what we learned from that, if we still use violence as a method to solve problem, it's absolutely wrong. The problem remain there. So long we human beings remain there, some problem is always there. So therefore, problem remain there, and the way of to solve the problem using violence also fail. Now only alternative is through dialogue, through talk. And the sense of I should win, doesn't matter what they get. That kind of attitude now must change. It is impossible. Whole nearly 7 billion human beings sharing the same planet, sharing same environment. And the global economy is everybody's interest. Everybody's livelihood depend related with that. So the concept of we and they is gone. We must consider whole humanity should be part of we. So the very concept of war based on strong division, we and they, isn't it? In order to win we, no hesitation to defeat them. Right? So now the reality, whole world become part of we. So no room to use force. Like, you see, whole world like one body. So if you get some pain here, then hit or cut. Foolish. Still this is part of my body. Like that. So some part of the world, some problems there, but still part of the world, part of me, part of we. Accordingly we have to solve that way. So that's a dialogue. Respect others' interest. Not only think one's own interest should get 100%. Now impossible. Say 50%, if possible 60%, other 50%. Otherwise, you see, no possibility to one side to win, one side defeat is impossible. So, according to that reality, using force, unrealistic, outdated. So the only thing is through dialogue. I think international level, or national level, or community level, or even family level, I think we should think, we should educate. The best way solving problem, the solution, peaceful solution, is dialogue. So often you see, I share people from kindergarten. We should teach student from kindergarten. Whenever we face problem, disagreement or conflict about this potential of conflict, then the only way solve the problem through dialogue. So through education, students get the full awareness, importance of dialogue, so that the concept of dialogue should be first reaction when see some problem. How to solve this through dialogue? Usually, when we face some disagreement, some conflict, the first reaction from human mind, human emotion, how to solve this force, use force. That's wrong. So now we must change that through education. So sometimes I used to telling student from kindergarten, you should become familiar about the spirit of dialogue, so that when the student return home, when they see parent quarrel and talking about divorce, something like that, then the children may advise parent, no, this is wrong, must sort of reconciliation, and through dialogue must solve. Isn't it? When we bring that kind of sort of new generation, then these people become leader of the country, different country, or become politicians, or important sort of person. Then I think world really become more peaceful world. So I think everything should depend on education. This is my feeling. Now last, I think 1-2 centuries, it's a big change take place. Not through prayer, but through education and action. A few months ago, I was in, I think the other day, whether I mentioned or not, maybe panel Lucia Somason. So I cannot remember whether I mentioned or not. I no. So in any way, at Patna, the Bihar state, the state government is built huge Buddhist temple in Patna, the state capital. So they invited me, and Chief Minister himself came to see me and invited me. So I accepted. Bihar state is from the Buddhist world. The Bihar state is something very important. Buddha Gaya there, like that. So when we carried the function, Chief Minister mentioned with Buddha's blessing, the Bihar state will develop,
Prosper.
prosperity.
No.
He mentioned that. So then, my turn talk, because I know the Chief Minister very well. So I teach him, if Buddha's blessing can build prosperity, Bihar state, then Bihar state much earlier will develop. Should be. Because Buddha's blessing always there. But till Chief Minister, active Chief Minister come, Buddha's blessing not much effective. So Buddha's blessing must go through human being's hand, I mentioned, like that. So effort, water. I think last I think 2 centuries, I think maybe, education really brought big change. I think still this is some corner of the world, poverty, terrible situation, and very bad situation still, and particularly in Africa state, and also some Latin American countries still, I think some difficult, and Asia as well. But overall, I think poverty much change, and also the health improve. All these really, take place because of the education. Education. And technology. I think really benefit. So education is very, very important. This is my view. So in America, also in Canada, number of occasions, including some Nobel laureate and expert, scientist, and some educationist, some chancellor, some teachers, some thinkers. There's many occasions we discuss how to, now everybody agree, our society, particularly affluent society, the material thing is much advanced, but still in the society, under beautiful surface is underneath some kind of restlessness and some kind of difficulties. And it's like Japan, economically highly developed, but now suicide rate increasing. In Dharamsala area, I think suicide, maybe very, very few. Those bigger cities, life, very rush way.
No, it's fast. Fast.
And then a lot of competition. So many occasions, the unanimous sort of same view, unanimous view, the modern society, there is modern society lacking human affection. That's why you see these the difficulties, loneliness, depression, finally suicide, and also some senselessly killing. These things happen mainly due to lack of affection in the society, in the family, like that. So many occasions now some specialists actually, you see, working some kind of curriculum,
Programs now.
some kind of program, how to educate about warm-heartedness or moral principle without touching religion. Some people have the view moral ethics must be based on religious faith. Then it becomes very narrow. Look, India. Why? Indian constitution, you see, based on secularism. Because this country, the almost whole world major religious tradition all exist in this country last more than 1,000 years. So India's sort of the constitution, if you see based on one religious faith, then difficult. So therefore, there's only way secular. In some my Muslim friend and also some Christian friend, you see, they have a little bit reservation about the word of secularism. So I often, you see, telling them, according Mahatma Gandhi, according Indian sort of constitution, secularism does not mean disrespect about religion, but rather respect all religion. No preference in this religion or that religion. And also according the former Deputy Prime Minister of India, Mr. Advani, once we talk about spirituality, then he mentioned in ancient time in India, there's one school of thought, Charvaka, that's nihilism, the view or philosophy of nihilism, nihilistic sort of view. No next life, no God, no spirituality, nothing, just this life. And material value, nothing. So that's Sanskrit word Charvaka. So he mentioned that Charvaka school of thought, all the Indian traditions, you see, condemn, or criticize, argue. But those people who keep this view refer Rishi. Rishi means
Sage.
Sage. Sage. So that means philosophical viewpoint consider nihilistic view bad, criticize. But person who holding that view refer sage, respect. So he mentioned, you see, India secularism means even non-believer in ancient time, respect them. So in modern time also, those people who believe, who
Rejected.
no belief about faith, any faith, we must respect them. So that's secularism means. So therefore, I think obviously in education system, we must because of the way educate about moral principle must be through secular way. So that already some serious discussion, some my American friend and also Canada. I think 2 years ago, I think 1 year ago, so I was in Canada, Quebec. Montreal. When the organization who invited me there, several universities in Quebec, French-speaking. You see, recently I was told, you see, they changed some previously the Catholicism something compulsory study that now stop. So the meantime they want to secular sort of education. And spiritual sort of education, moral education. So they organize teachers from different university in Quebec area together and carry some training, teacher training about secular ethics. So they invited me. So I also share about my sort of usual sort of thinking. So like that, there are some movement. Now in India also, you see, the number of occasions we have some discussions, some concerned people. Even when Indira Gandhiji there, one time I raised, you see, this subject, and she also very serious. So she actually mentioned some name, some professors of some university in Delhi. But then soon she disappeared, she killed. Like that. So now, like Singapore, if possible, some educationists, some thinkers, you see, some sort of discussion, more research work, how to introduce in public school, without touching religion, about moral ethics, the secular way, like Indian style. Then, say, one school adopt that sort of because of the new curriculum. Then see, after 5 years, 10 years, whether there is some sort of positive result or not. If not much sort of result, then no need carry. Dropped away. Dropped. If you see some positive things there, then expand 10 schools, 100 schools. I think that's that we can do, isn't it? Like that. So the key thing is education. This is my feeling. So now, 2 o'clock. Yeah, question 2.
If Your Holiness were not the Dalai Lama, what would you have liked to be?
Perhaps, I think that's Kasa. Kasa.
Hypothetically. Hypothetically.
Hypothetical way. Hypothetical. That is a silly question. Already here, whether I like or not, I got the name of Dalai Lama. Next question.
we are taught that in order of the arising of self-grasping, the grasping of phenomena, independent phenomena, arises first, and grasping of independent self arises later. But in order of realization, the selflessness of person is understood first, and the selflessness of phenomena is understood after that. Can you please help to clarify this point?
가사 지금부터 버갈리다.
당면님, 당진님 기린나니 추기 당진님 이렇게 가사 당지 제를 기위. 아니 담에 토링 원도 전에 가사 담에 니에로 또네 추기 담에 제로 또 오르스 는데 두스. 깨물을 좀 공식 하이나.
Whenever we develop feeling I, it never happened without sort of some feeling of body. nga slot shedi phungulu du shane nga seg du shengdo.
When the concept I arises within you, do you consider your physical part when you think of I?
Usually, this solid physical and feeling of mind, on that basis, feeling of I come. So, firstly, grasping the body, independence of body, then that act like basis that develop the grasping self. But then when we investigation, firstly, I, self, because obviously, comparatively, body, now we can touch. This is my body. And mind, you can actually feel. But I, not that. Some kind of invisible, isn't it? What do you think? We simply, you see, never you see thought. Otherwise, you see, if you one step forward, where's I? Answer, a little difficult. Where's your body? Yes, here. This is my body. Where's your mind? Yes, here. My mind there. But where's I? Vague. Isn't it? you are sleeping. What do you think? Something like that, isn't it? Conceptual, talk about the air. So, can't talk about the they want you to go about talk about the
So this can only appear to your conceptual mind. It cannot be seen by senses.
So, comparatively, body, mind, I is little invisible, vague. But, you see, nobody deny there is I. I, nobody deny. I is there. It is reality. No argument. But then, meantime, investigate not like body and mind, something a little bit vague. So, it's easier to get understanding I without sort of solid thing. But we can accept existence of I. So, therefore, when we investigate first on I, then once we get some experience, such as I or self, without touching pinpoint, right? Without a base pinpoint, but we can accept mere existence, mere designated existence of I. So then your body, where is my body? This is part of my body. It's part of my body. This is also part of my body. Where is body? go like that. Then again you cannot find. So there finally then, finally you see this, like arm, hand. This is not hand. This is also part of hand, not real hand. Without this, also not hand. So this is part of hand. This is part of hand. Now where is the hand? No. We can't pinpoint. Then one finger, upper part, middle part, lower part, which is real finger? No. Then up to atom, small particle, we can't find. Quark, first, second, number 1, number 2, number 3, you can't find. Just something like wave. So everything, the solid rock, go further, we can't find. So then, you see, as an example, right? Take example I, cannot find but exist. Similarly, the other solid thing cannot find but exist. That's the way. Listen, like that. Now, last question. 뭐냐도 좋아? 가. 가.
What is the purpose of life?
Generally, my answer is happiness. So religious people also, they try to get, now for example, the person who practice Buddha Dharma, particularly the Nagarjuna's teaching, the purpose is to get the highest level of joyfulness, permanent peace. Then those cruel people also, you see, they doing all sorts of negative thing meant for joyful, happy life, isn't it? So a small insect moving want something good. When one ant come, if our finger go like that, he or she immediately, you see, they cautious. So these tiny beings also, you see, have the same sort of desire. Want more peace, do not want disturbances. Same. All entire sentient beings same. So I have some reason. You see, our life very much based on hope. So some failure happen, some tragedy happen. If the person still keep hope, then he or she survive. But due to some sort of tragedy, some difficulties, then give up hope. Then that mental attitude itself shortened our life. Then worst case, completely hope, because of completely lost hope. Then even suicide also take place. Therefore, our survival entirely based on hope. No guarantee good future. Future is like space. Anything can be possible. But we keep hope. Isn't it? Hope, you see, keep our life. So there, hope for the best, for good. So therefore, very purpose of our life is happiness, joyfulness. There is no argument, no debate. And so that's my view. Of course, different sort of religious view, there are also some different sort of explanation maybe, but common. As I mentioned, using common sense, that I feel the entire sentient being have, I think their existence, I think very purpose of their existence is happy life. That's, I think, no question. And among the audience, are there any scientists who carry certain sort of research work? No. Or biologists? Some biologists? Good. Good. Then I want, you see, one question. You know, the silly question again, maybe a silly question. You know, many occasions I express that, and particularly one occasion in Oxford University. You see, my talk, in the front sort of seat, some Oxford professors, you see there. Then I put one question. Of course, my sort of talk, and then some connection. I mentioned about compassion, these things. One my curiosity, still I don't know, that is the sort of appreciation of affection. That is, of course, we have in it. And dogs, cats, and birds, if we treat them nicely, they appreciate, isn't it? Now, tiny insect like mosquito. You see, some occasion when my mood is good, then also you see there is no danger of malaria. Then I give some blood, mosquito. The looks, you see, he or she, I think some say she, isn't it? Who egg, they take blood. So, as far as mosquito is concerned, the female are more aggressive. Okay, so you see, the she suck and the whole body become red. Then just a fly seems no sign of appreciation. So what size of brain have the ability to show appreciation? And below that size, then no ability that any scientist so far, I think, not take any sort of research work. No. I simply want, I think fish, many cases, I think they appreciate if we treat them nicely. I have some experience in Lhasa, in Nobulinga, there's one pond. So many fish there. I always receive feeding. Then, you see, when you feed them, sometimes they play. They show there some kind of ability to really fly like that. And whenever my steps were, footstep, top ladder, they immediately come. They know who's going to feed them. So they also have some ability to show appreciation and friendliness attitude, isn't it? Like that. So, thank you very much.
On behalf of everyone, we would like to thank you for the teaching. On behalf of everyone here, we would like to thank you for the teaching that you have been given us. And as a token of appreciation, we would like to sing you a song. Can we have your permission to sing you a song? Thank you.
Love. 遥远的喜马拉雅，那远有布达那，西土村
诸可解断尼菩萨，为度众生慈悲化身。尊贵的天君真主，弘法利正妙见相，大地佛路甘露自众生土，真度六路的解脱。
达赖喇嘛，达赖喇嘛，你何时来临中华？愿你佛心事业路路通，有路阳光遍照大地。达赖喇嘛，达赖喇嘛，你何时来临中华？愿你早日回到你家乡，愿你寿命比天高。Give it to him.
Yes, few questions. Huh? Oh.
Please give one words of encouragement and advice for the growth of Singaporean Buddhist community.
Correct. Singapore community.
Buddhist community.
I don't know. I think you know better. You should know better. Of course, that almost like, I think, city-state, small one, but very efficient. And I think because of the education. So that much I know. Then how to further develop, that you know better. I don't know.
As a lay practitioner, what is the best practice or homework we should do at home on a daily basis?
As I mentioned last few days, study is the key factor. My own case, now over 75 years, but still, whenever I have time, now for example, at my breakfast, the mouth busy, but I look books, reading. Of course, if meal very tasteful, then my mind goes, I think, on the taste. But otherwise, you see, divided, like that. So whenever I have some time, I always read and think. So these books are not like history book. History book, read once, then finish. But these are philosophical books. You have to read from time to time, then think, because contemplation is a contemplation. So awful. Then, as I mentioned earlier, we also need the single-pointed concentration also is necessary, like that. So then, you see, early morning, as soon as get up, you see, think about like altruism and also the emptiness. think, and then try to remain. So traces of that sort of little experience in morning, rest of the day must keep. Kasota must remember.
Keep it.
Ka.
Must keep
Retain.
something.
Ka.
Must retain.
Oh. So, for example, when we, at the previous night, some bad news or something very tragedy sort of feeling, then next morning, in I think subconscious or deeper level, some impact the last night sort of the shocking news.
Yes.
So similarly, morning, some meditation, some analytical meditation about altruism, about the emptiness, these things, or impermanence, and try to reduce attachment or reduce anger. Then that meditation, some traces of that sort of impact of that meditation may remain whole day. So that's the way. Actually, meditation session is something like battery recharge. Then rest of the day, use that battery, like that. So if we makes, that's called also no connection, the meditation, and then daily life, separate, then no use. Meditation, the very purpose of meditation is daily life be more meaningful, like that. Okay, next question.
Although I was born in Malaysia, as a Chinese, we would like to confess and say sorry to His Holiness what mainland Chinese have done to your homeland and your people. I feel sad thinking about Tibet's plight. I sincerely hope your Holiness can return to homeland soon. What can we do to assist you in this cause?
Quite okay, and then quite nice, quite peaceful. She found contrast. Contrasted differences. No. And then also, you see, another person, one occasion you see it mentioned to me, even graduate student, university in China, you see, many of them have the view, past Tibet, see, Lamas and monks, also they suppress Tibetan people. Tibetan people hold people as a slave, and very cruel. So that kind of society, the Liberation Army liberated. See, even you see the graduate university student, you see many of them have that kind of impression. Then that person, you see, notice the past Tibet, of course, not like heaven. There are many backwards, drawbacks, naturally there. But overall, I think Tibet, past to the Tibetan community, quite compassionate society. That's true. The system, yes, feudal system, some exploitation there, but comparatively more compassionate. So there's a lot of distorted information. Many young Chinese, very sincere mind, but because of wrong information, sometimes now, for example, my own experience, before Tiananmen event happened, when we try to reach out, Chinese brothers, sisters in different universities, and also Chinese professors or Chinese or businessmen, before Tiananmen, from their side, response, very reluctant. They always remain. One story, my officer in London, in my sort of the representative, One day, one lady, you see, the lady, you see, went to Swiss embassy, Sweden embassy to get visa. Not easy. So same book, as a day, after some time, after 1 year or few years, read again, you may get deeper understanding. So you must read from time to time these important textbooks. And also, very important to read different books of different philosophical view. That also immense benefit. Like Nagarjuna's one book, I can't remember the name. Then also the Aryadeva's 400 verses. And then Viveka's book. So all ancient Indian school of thought is mentioned. Then a lot of debate. These are extremely useful. So firstly, read as much as possible. Of course, those as the working days, of course, you have to carry work. And also when you return, maybe you feel tired. But then the weekend, instead of going some picnics, or especially like, what called nightclub. No. Occasionally maybe, but don't go. Waste of time, waste of energy. Instead of going these things in this area, and sit on your own home, spend more time with your children, and read, study, and then, if possible, as far as meditation is concerned, if possible, get up a bit earlier. My own case, every day, 3:30, local time, 3:30, always is get up. Then, 4 or 5 hours, some meditation, and some chanting, like that. Get a little bit earlier. I think best period to meditate or to think. Meditation, there are two types: single-pointed meditation and analytical meditation. As far as my own sort of experience is concerned, analytical meditation is the most important. We never feel bad feeling towards Han people, never. Of course, some individual Hanrin individual, quite strange Hanrin also there. That's understandable. Among Tibetan also, some special Tibetan also there. So similarly, among the Chinese also is some a little bit, you see, the abnormal Chinese also there. Right?
Nice.
So sometimes I express him. You see, some of the hardliners, the communists, the part of their brain, or part of human brain, which the basis of development of common sense. Some of these hardliners' brain, that part missing. So that's why, you see, one way, of course, these people, you see, really want nice picture of China. But their very activities creates bad face of China. Right? So there's a clear sign, a lack of common sense. Just the power. But you don't feel some kind of because of this event, we have some kind of negative attitude towards Han people. Never. I appreciate, you see, you express your sort of sorrow, right?
Son. No, sorry. Sorry.
Thank you. I very much appreciate it. Now, I think about 2 weeks ago, I met one Chinese from mainland China who also visited very recently Tibet. He told me in mainland China, according the official sort of the version, the Tibetan community outside very poor, very difficult. When he reached here, he spent a few days here in Meloganj, and he found people here, their livelihood